evening. My name is Antoinette Bell, and I am giving my informative speech on how to administer CPR. All right, so what I will do now is just scan the camera so that way you can see my guests. Okay, and then of course I do have a willing participant down here. My nephew is going to be my practice dummy. All right, so CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. There are a few steps when administering CPR. The first step is to position your hands as you're putting your hands on your participant or whomever, whatever the case may be. The second thing would be to interlock your fingers. So I will demonstrate all of that now. All right, so the first thing is to position your fingers. And so when you're doing that, you want to find the end of the breastbone right at the xiphoid process. And because he is only 11, I will be just using one hand. And what we will do then is interlock my fingers here. And the next thing I will do is give chest compressions, but of course, because he's not in an emergency, I would not actually be doing it. But what I would be doing is pressing down, and we're going to press 2 inches into his chest wall. Okay, now the next thing I'm doing is checking for an air chest. I'm going to see if he's actually breathing or if his chest is rising and falling. In an emergency situation, you wouldn't see his chest moving, but of course here, because he is not an emergency situation, his chest is rising and falling. This is how, and then also when I'm giving my 2 breaths, because according to the Mayo Clinic, you would administer 30 compressions and 2 breaths. So with this, after the 2 breaths, you would look to see if his chest rises when you give the breaths. So of course, you would tilt the head back here. And as you tilt the head back, you would pinch the nose and give a breath. And you want to look to make sure that the chest is rising up when you give the breath so that you know that you're inflating the lungs. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, and it's also important to make sure that we call 911 so that way help is coming, because you would be administering CPR until 911 gets there or any first responder. Okay. Now, with the giving of the air, that is the third step, of course, which is to open the airways. And as we're doing that, we're just adjusting to make sure, number one, that his head is tilted, so that way you can see his windpipe and trachea here. Right? So also, according to the Mayo Clinic, they recommend that you do each round 30 and 2 and give 100 compressions per minute. So, of course, I've already discussed step number 4, which is to watch the chest rise and fall. So, literally, you want to sit there and just watch that to make sure that you're delivering the breath correctly. So, you would go down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And of course, you would do that 30 times, but I'm only going to do 15 because we are not in an emergency situation. Now, after you have completed all of those steps, if your participant or whomever it is not responding in an emergency situation, then after you gave the rescue breaths and you've done your compressions, then you will repeat it. That's step number 7. Then once you do that, the only way to stop is if you see the person breathing, and then of course they'll get up. Yeah. And you just then wait on 911 to come and assess the situation. Almost there. Okay. So then once they assess the situation, you just want to kind of stay with them to make sure that they're breathing and kind of check. Right. So the next thing we're going to do as it comes to CPR is to show the Heimlich maneuver. Stand up. Okay, and so just with that, it's just for choking. So you're just gonna do here and wait to see if it comes out. So that is my demonstration on CPR and the Heimlich maneuver. Thank you and have a good day.